Migrations by Charlotte McConaghy. This book is set in a near future, hopefully not super near, although probably very much is, where most animal species have gone extinct. Climate change is in full swing. Things are going very poorly. Our main character is Franny Stone. She is a woman who has a lot of things going on, a lot of, mental health issues and relationship issues. She is the type of person that moves around a lot, I guess. She's got a lot of grief, a lot of these secrets, and we find out and learn about a lot of her issues and problems as the book goes. The main story that we follow, the one that's set in the present, is Franny goes and finds a shipping boat and shipping crew to take her down to the Arctic, because she is following what she believes to be the last migration pattern of the Arctic tern, which is a bird. She believes this is going to be their final migration before the species goes extinct, and she wants to follow them to their final destination. So the book follows that main thread of her on this fishing boat, her interactions with the crew, and her getting there. You know, this journey that she's taking, and then weaved throughout that is all these stories from her past. So we get the full picture of who Franny is by the end. I don't want to give too much away. I'll get to that in the spoiler section. But this book is very much about relationships and the things that you deal with as an individual, and also climate change and how horrific that's going to be. But I thought it was great. I truly, really, really enjoyed and loved this book. I thought it was just fantastic. McConaghy's writing is very good. It can be very beautiful and also completely devastating. I spoke about, kind of like the structure of the narrative. It really does kind of meet in the middle, where we're getting all these bits and pieces from past and present. And by the end of it, it's like, okay. That makes sense. And, you really do experience everything, and everything does, come together. Franny as a character, she is incredibly complex. I enjoyed this character a lot. Really pretty unforgettable, incredibly human and lifelike and realistic. I myself related with this character in a lot of ways, so much so that it kind of made me sick, but then also she really frustrated me sometimes and confused me. I think that's the signs of a really good character who, very well-rounded and well thought out, just felt like a real normal person that I would know, and also myself. But that kind of goes for all of the characters throughout the book. The crew of the fishing boat, they were all unique from one another. The captain especially, I really liked him. I can't remember his name, but I really liked him a lot. One of the better characters of the book, I thought. But then also, her husband, or the significant other in the book, just everybody that's close to her, we get to know them too. And everybody seems to have this role to play. They have a purpose in the story, and they're all important, whether it's in a big way or a small way. This book has such an insane balance between being just so heartbreaking and heavy, but then also having these great moments of light and hope. The ending of the book is basically the ultimate mixture of both of those things, where it's incredibly tragic, but also just wow, okay. That's all I'm going to say for now. I'm going to get into spoilers so I can really kind of deep dive into this. If you're curious about my final rating and my closing thoughts, you can go ahead and skip ahead. I'll timestamp it below, but for now, let's get into spoilers. So obviously this book, near future, climate change, extinction. I'm an animal person. I grew up, I had animal fact files and zoo books and stuff. The thought of animals going extinct is just kind of a little too hard to bear for me. And I know that it's happening right now, slow rolling off the cliff. And I think that this book does a really good job of making you feel and understand the impact of that and the implications of that, and how it can affect people who do care about animals and who are trying to do something about it. One of the most like heart-wrenching, gut-punching parts of this book is when Fanny is in Yellowstone and she's just walking through it by herself, and Niall calls her to tell her that the crow has gone extinct. Because earlier we had heard this story about when she was younger and she had befriended this, like, I don't know what you call it, a group of crows in her neighborhood, and how she had to move away and how like hard that was for her. So we're just getting these kind of connections of just like this person who cares about these creatures, and now they're gone forever. And like, just, I don't even know what to say. It's like, it sounds like something that you can't fathom happening, but it is and will. And it's an inevitability. There's nothing you can do to stop that. It's super depressing. I don't know. I think that there's this kind of like weird thing that people do, or that I do, where it's like one day the world's going to wake up and we'll stop this. We're not going to. I think that this highlights that too. Like the fishing boat that she gets on and the fisherman that she encounters, she asks him like, how can you possibly live with yourself? Like, how can you get on this boat every day and go out and fish in the ocean knowing that they're completely overfished and dying? And they're like, what do you want us to do? I'm a fisherman. This is my job. Like, you want me to stop? Which is like a total, like, I got to make a living, right? It's a total cop-out, but still, like, it makes sense. Like, what, I'm just going to, like, stop my job because the fish are dying, and it's so real, like, ain't sad. Yeah, it's just going to suck total ass when it actually occurs and things start to really spiral. I hate thinking about it. And it all totally ties into Franny and her decision at the end. Like, it makes the most sense. I'll get to that here in a second. I want to just talk about her as a character, and how I kind of connected with her in a lot of ways. This character was just all over the place. In a good way, just full of mental health issues, abandonment and commitment problems, mom and dad issues big time. I think her parents were like, she found her mom like after she had hung herself. I think her dad like killed a kid. Like, it's all like so screwed up. But like, as an emotional response to all of this, like, she tends to just run away from anything and anyone. It's just kind of what she does. She always tends to come back, but you just never know when. And she meets this guy, Niall, one of her like former professors, or she's a professor at a college that she's a janitor at, and they connect over their love of birds. And they fall in love, and, but obviously she runs away a lot. And there's just these moments like throughout where, you're starting to understand like why she's on this fishing boat. The book kind of makes you think that she's just on another one of these little side quest adventures that she takes, but we find out that that's not true. Niall is dead. He died in a car accident that they were both in, that she survived. And she has his journal. She keeps reading through this journal. There's a part in it I really loved and hated where he talks about how he'll always wait for her and their child, and like, God damn it. It was like so rough. This book was so heavy, but so good. At the end, she decides to kill herself. She finds the final destination of these turns and wades into a freezing cold Arctic water and dies. Which is like the most fitting end for a character like this. And honestly, to me, just makes complete sense. This character resonated with me a lot, like in so many ways. There was one part in it that, and this might be maybe a little too revealing on my part, but like she's talking to a psychologist who's telling her that like, you disassociate way too much. And that is very dangerous. And I do that all the time, constantly disassociating just to kind of deal with the modern world and the stresses that are involved with it. It's just easier to kind of just like separate your brain from everything. Because otherwise, what do? You wallow in grief. This character was super fucked up, like beyond belief, but I felt like a certain connection to her in a lot of ways. I understood her. She made sense to me. I also would love to be a Lord of the Crows like she was. I might start like putting stuff out for the crows in my backyard so that I can become a crow lord. That would be cool. But I think that story was great in highlighting, you know, kind of like the friendship or relationships that animals that humans can have, and how like amazing and fulfilling they can be, and how devastating they can be when those animals are gone or you are gone, or, you know, I don't know. I loved this book a lot. Overall, I gave Migrations a 5 out of 5. I think that this is a great, fantastic book. I think it's packed with so much real and raw emotion. It has a really great story and a really great narrative that really unravels itself, and a cast of characters that I'm not going to forget. This is definitely one of the best and like most emotionally like hard-hitting books that I've ever read. I think it's great. I highly recommend it. But just understand that it is raw. This is not like a feel-good story, even though there's a lot of feel-good parts. And ultimately, I think that it ends in a way that made me, I felt good about the way that it ended. But I think it's just, this is a great book. Very, very great. I do recommend it. Just know that, it can be very sad. But what do you think? Have you read Migrations? Let me know your thoughts on it down below. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and as always, thanks for watching. Bye.